Hey folks, I'm going to shoot the part 3 of my half-price music sale haul. What I'm about to show you are kind of the oddball CDs, the country CDs, black gospel CDs, and then finally the kind of contemporary Christian CDs that I picked up. And got some good stuff. So let me go ahead and jump right in there. The first one was the CD, kind of oddball CD. Came out on Telarc Records, which kind of caught my eye. Also noticed it's a baseball CD. Play ball. But as I was looking at it, I noticed that it said, like, Casey at Bat, narrated by James Earl Jones. There are some guest vocals by Maria Muldaur and Tom Wopat. And different things like Abbott and Costello's Who's on First. So I thought that was interesting. So I picked it up. Play ball. This kind of looks like a baseball, kind of fitting. But that came out on Telarc. The next kind of oddball CD, I picked up. It's a bunch of horror. Here's the front cover. It's got a sticker on the front, so I thought I'd pull it out. So it's the best horror movie songs, and stuff like Halloween, Friday the 13th, The Exorcist, Jaws, Psycho, The Omen, Silence of the Lambs, Dracula, Nightmare on Elm Street. Thought it might be interesting. If nothing else, I could rip it to my phone and maybe set them as ringtones or something for the Halloween season. But that came out on Direct Source. Is it time for your close-up? Okay. Or you just want a good seat to see the show? Okay. Anyway, then the next album I got, CD, oddball. It's a comedy one, I guess. It's Frank on the Radio. And that would be Frank, how do you say his name? Frank Kalinda? The guy that does the Madden imitation. And I've noticed there Madden's name shows up on here a couple times. So I thought it could be interesting. So I picked it up, being the football nut that I am. Alright, so let's start the country music section, I guess. The first album, I guess, is country music. It's just a different country. It's The Chieftains, The Bells of Dublin, it says at the bottom, with Jackson Browne, Elvis Costello, Marianne Faithfull, Nancy Griffith, Ricky Lee Jones, Kate and Anna McGarrigle, and Burgess Meredith. Burgess Meredith? The Penguin? Anyway, I like the Chieftains. I like some good traditional Celtic music every once in a while, so that's kind of cool. Now to get back to American country, I guess. I don't know. Maybe this album next album would have fit better in the rock, because it's the soundtrack from Falling from Grace, a movie featuring John Cougar Mellencamp. I would have expected him to dominate the soundtrack. He is on a couple songs. He does a couple songs. It doesn't scare me none, and nothing's for free. But there are some other people on here like Nancy Griffith and Dwight Yoakam and John Prine. Yeah, so still in the shrink. Oh, this next lady, Patty Griffith, Children Running Through. She has such an awesome voice. What a tremendously talented vocalist. Kind of what it looks like on the inside. Not too familiar with this album, but Patty Griffith is amazing, so it's bound to be good. Jake? Why don't you hand them to me? Can we do that? Alright. I don't know much about this guy, except that he's famous. I need to get into his music because I like country. The Essential Roy Acuff. So I'm going to dig into this album. Someone I'm a little more familiar with, Dwight Yoakam, A Long Way Home. Love that Bakersfield sound. I got lucky, I didn't just find one Dwight, I found two. Dwight Yoakam Live, Dwight Live. It's kind of odd in that the Dwight Live on the front here is a sticker that's on the hype sticker, I guess. Love some Dwight. I guess I could put this next guy in with the Christian stuff, but he's more Americana country to me. Buddy Green, Minstrel of the Lord. Noticed right away that this album was co-produced with Buddy Green and Jerry Douglas, and those of you all who are familiar with Jerry Douglas will recognize him. He's a sensational musician that's played with a kind of a big name among the kind of the new bluegrass scene. Found one for Emmylou. So Emmylou Harris, Brand New Dance. This is an early 90s disc, in fact 1990. Haven't heard this one, but I've got a lot of Emmylou's music. I don't think she ever put out a bad album. This one I'm really intrigued by. I haven't heard it, but I keep hearing people talk about it. Traveler, Chris Stapleton. It's in this super skinny little sleeve. I don't know if that's the way it was typically put out, but yeah, I don't know the first thing about him except his reputation, and this will be one I'm anxious to get a listen to. This next one I was very excited to find. I have to pull the cover out because there's a sticker on the front. Travis Tritt. Down the road I go. Love this, grateful that I found this one because I love the song Modern Day Bonnie and Clyde. That song rocks. Yeah, Travis Tritt. And finally, Marty Stewart. Honky Tonkin's what I do best. Saw Marty this past spring. What a showman. One of the best concerts I've ever been to. Love that cover. What an amazing talent. Great guitarist. The next four kind of fall in the black gospel category. The first one's Tada Vega. Now I See. Became aware of her. She sang backup on Russ Taff's Metals album back in the 80s. She has a huge voice. Great singer. The next one is a Stax Profile. Rance Allen. I've had a couple of his albums in the past. They've all been good. I found a double disc on DonnieMcClurkin. This is Psalms, Hymns, and Spiritual Songs. Very pleased that this was in excellent shape. And finally, great black gospel group, The Commissioned, Reunion Live. Alright, so let's get down the stretch to the kind of the contemporary Christian stuff. Styles may vary a little bit, and I'm not familiar with all of these. I was in a buddy of mine. He was driving me around one evening, and we were listening to a young man named David Crowder, and I was like, man, there's a lot of the new contemporary Christian artists. They don't do anything for me, but as we were listening to this particular album that he had, I was saying, man, that sounds pretty good. So while I was digging through his CDs, I texted him and said, hey, what was that dude's name? And he said David Crowder. So I found 3 of his. Illuminate. David Crowder Band, Remedy. And David Crowder Band, B Collision. Don't know what that's about. But I'm hoping one of these albums was the album that we were listening to in the van that night. This band I am familiar with, and this is kind of cool. I didn't realize it's a two disc set. I did look at them both, didn't I? Yeah. And I guess one of them has some DVD content on it, but it's Casting Crowns. What is that? Life Song Live. And it does have some songs, Praise You in the Storm, and Does Anybody Hear? Those are great songs. Those are great songs. And I remember, I think I started listening when I first heard Casting Crowns was when I worked for a homeless shelter for 17 years and got laid off, and there were were some circumstances that weren't good, like they didn't pay into unemployment insurance, so I didn't get any, and I was really depressed, and those songs really helped me kind of get through it. This one's kind of was an odd pickup for me. It's Al Denson, Reunion Praise. I never really got into Al during his heyday. Thought I'd give this one a shot. I actually know his guitarist. No, I take that back. I don't know his guitarist. I've met his guitarist. Jeff Calhoun. He was in a Lexington Christian band called Showfire, and he knew some people that I think he knows some people that I know, and I think at one point we met, and so I don't know him. I've maybe shaken the man's hand, but I thought I'd pick it up. I remember him being a very good guitarist. Next one I was excited about, John Michael Talbot, Come to the Quiet. John Michael Talbot was in the band Mason Prophet, mainstream Americana band that I've shown their albums. Through the course of the spring, I was finding their albums on vinyl left and right at great prices, so I've got quite a few Mason Prophet albums. Always enjoy picking up his Christian offerings too. This one, Phil Driscoll, Warriors. Phil Driscoll is a trumpet player. Was glad the first copy I saw of this was really scratched up, so I was very happy to find a second copy that wasn't. Then Gaither Vocal Band, Greatly Blessed. Like this lineup. Michael English is in this lineup, and of course he's a tremendous singer, and I'm sure some of the David Phelps is in here too, and that guy he's got some pipes. So yeah, Bill Gaither, what a great songwriter, or hymn writer. Next one, Wayne Watson, The Very Best. Good songwriter. There's some good stuff on here. Giants in the Land. When God's People Pray. Yeah. So, was happy to find that. Another one I was very happy to find, Margaret Becker, Steps of Faith. It's a greatest hits from her early in her career. I have most of her stuff, but this does have a couple tracks that were just put out on this disc, so I was happy to find it. Found a vocal band. Well, not a vocal band. This is a regular band, Eden Adal. They're an R&B soul band, and I think they're Swedish, if I'm not mistaken. They were on the Christian label Frontline. And then finally, found 4 albums by this gentleman. Great musician, Stephen Curtis Chapman. I found his Christmas album, All I Really Want for Christmas. He's put out 3 Christmas albums, I believe. And I think this is the second one. I've got this one, and I now have this one, and I have the first one, The Music of Christmas, I believe, and then he's got one more called Joy that I need to pick up. Then I found his album, This Moment. This is a 2007 recording. Just kind of modern design on the front. Another picture on the back. Then one of his more recent albums, I think all he's done since this album was a praise album, but it's Stephen Curtis Chapman, The Glorious Unfolding. Again, pictures. And then one that I am familiar with, I've heard some of the songs off this, Stephen Curtis Chapman Recreation. Basically, I think he went back in the studio and re-recorded a bunch of his hits from earlier in his career. Songs like The Great Adventure, Speechless, Heaven in the Real World, Live Out Loud, For the Sake of the Call. So some of those early albums of his did have kind of a dated sound, so it was probably a good thing that he did. So anyway, that's the extent of the rock, or the CD haul that I made this weekend. Hope you've enjoyed these videos. I feel like I haven't told you much about these albums. A lot of these are new to me, but maybe they'll be showing back up in future videos where I can tell you a little bit more about what I thought about them. So anyway, hope everybody is doing well. I'm getting ready to sign off here and go to the DVR and watch some football. I wish my Dolphins were playing. I do hope that everybody in Florida is taking necessary precautions and being safe, and we'll pray that it doesn't hit too hard. And so hope this finds everyone doing well, and I will see you soon. Good night.